Welcome to the Publix Tailgate Show. Brian Sexton, Mike Dempsey, JP Shadrick, and Austen Lane will get you ready for kickoff.
Now he's going to try and run it in. He's in the end zone. Touchdown. He got up. Trevor Lawrence ran it in.
The Publix Tailgate Show is brought to you by the University of Florida, Whataburger, Farah and Farah, and by Everbank. The Publix Tailgate Show starts right now.
Good morning and welcome to Week 17 of the National Football League season. This is the Publix Tailgate Show. I'm Brian Sexton along with the Mike Dempsey.
Oh.
Austin Lane is traveling today. So I was asked, you think you guys got this? I said, do you know, Mike? We got this.
Oh, yeah. I think we can handle
talking. Is not our problem.
Not
Stopping
at all.
Generally is.
Yeah, accuracy in our predictions and things like that may
Listen, throw that out the window sometimes.
may vary.
We talked, I don't know, August about meaningful football games in the month of December. And here we are, the Sunday after Christmas, the Sunday before New Year's, with a really meaningful game for the Jaguars as they chase the AFC South, and the promise of meaningful football into January. Merry Christmas, everybody. I mean, this is right where you want to be.
Yeah, realistically, it's probably ahead of where you want it to be, right? I mean, you're on track to maybe win 13 games this year, and it's all in your hands as to whether or not you win the AFC South. You don't need any help from anybody at this point. You just need to win your final two games against two beatable opponents, both of them now eliminated from playoff contention with the Texans winning yesterday that knocks the Colts out. So, look, it's all right out there for the Jaguars. They still have to go out there and take care of business, though.
A couple of interesting numbers, right? The Colts start the season 8-2. They are the first team since the 1995 Oakland Raiders to start 8-2 and then finish out of the playoffs. Phillip Rivers will start today. It's just an interesting place for the Colts to be because they were a proud team. They were a good team. Injuries and some poor play along the way have taken their season away. You wonder what they're playing for and what their intensity level will be like today.
Yeah, don't know, right? It's a division game, and you want to play spoiler, and there are those different motivations out there, but they've lost 5 in a row. They've completely collapsed at this point in the season, and like you said, they are out, and it's shocking that 30 years has gone by since the team's been in this position. But they were in a very difficult spot this week. You and I talked about it before we came on the air, Brian, that they didn't know if Houston would win or lose, right. And it was a 4-point game. So if Houston loses that game, they're still alive. So they're preparing Phillip Rivers, who they think is the best chance for them to win any one individual game, to play. But he's clearly not going to be part of their long-term future. And you've got Riley Leonard, who's a young quarterback in there, who maybe he is, maybe he's not. And you're not going to get a chance to find out, at least this week, what he's all about.
Well, and listen, Brock Purdy was that guy in 2022 for the San Francisco 49ers when they called Phillip Rivers about bringing him out of retirement to play for them. He didn't elect to do that, and Brock Purdy played, and look who Brock Purdy is, which is why it's a relevant topic with Riley Leonard. But it's moot at this point because Rivers is going to be the starter today, and we're going to talk about that and a lot of other things. We start talking about the Colts and where they are, but Liam Cohen this week talked about his team and its mindset in this moment.
I'm proud of this team. I'm proud of how we're trying to do things for sure, and the guys make it really fun. So that's the fun part about being a coach or a teacher is when you see the people that you're working with improve. That's fulfilling for sure. So, it's a fun group to be around.
And a focus group, Mike. I mean, you couldn't get these guys off message this week. They understand what's at stake. They're not just happy to be there.
Well, you've seen it play out over the last few weeks, and I keep going back to the way they performed against the Jets when it was an easy look-ahead game. Then maybe you kind of slopped your way through it and you win by a touchdown, but they dominated that football game. They didn't look ahead to the Denver Broncos. They knew that was going to be a more important game. They know this is an important game. They took care of their business versus Denver as well, and they didn't go crazy about it. Like, that was the number 1 seed at the time. You're beating them on the road. And it's a lot to be proud of, but the Jags kind of took it in stride, and I do think that they have the kind of a little bit of an us against the world mentality. Whether it's all 100% legitimate or not, they've convinced themselves that no one will ever give them credit for anything, Brian, and so they're just going to go out there and continue to play for each other.
Well, listen, and it seems that every week something is presented. This week it was the Pro Bowl balloting, and there was only one Jaguar, the long snapper, Ross Matisic. Devin Lloyd talked a little bit about that this week, but more importantly, he talked about a team knowing that they have to win. They didn't know what the outcome was going to be with the Chargers. They couldn't. They were focused only on what they could do, which was win this week and win next, which is what it's going to take. Thanks to the Texans winning in Los Angeles yesterday, the Jaguars have to win, and Lloyd thinks that the locker room is set up right now so that they will be focused on that.
Obviously on the field it translates as well. Guys wanting to play for one another, the love is genuine, so, it's that extra notch. You're going to go extra hard for your brothers. You don't want to let them down. And you want to celebrate with them, and you want them to celebrate with you. So just playing together, we always say 11 is one, and really this team is very connected.
His focus was on them playing together for each other and not worrying about what the national media or the Pro Bowl balloters think about him.
Well, he might have some personal feelings about it, right? But he's smart enough to keep the focus on the team. And if there was one guy who got denied that deserved it, it was probably Devin Lloyd at the top of that list. There are other Jaguars having good years this year, but look, there are scenarios where they could lose today and still get in as the AFC South champ, but the Texans would have to lose to this Colts team next week. And, don't even worry about the scenarios. Just win your games. Keep the focus ahead, and then maybe one of those teams ahead of you has a slip-up. Denver could still lose to the Chargers in Week 17, and the Jags could vault them for the number 2 spot in the AFC and likely then get a matchup with that same Charger team, which wouldn't be too bad based on their form yesterday. Yeah.
All right, the guy who's leading the way, who's playing great football, is Trevor Lawrence, obviously. He's also been the steady guy at the podium, the steady guy in the locker room, and he was asked about the Pro Bowl snub and what he thought of it this week.
Who knows? I don't know. I mean, obviously guys see that and know, and I'm sure guys feel certain ways about it because you do take pride in your play, and, being recognized for it is something. I don't know how important it is to everybody. Everybody's different. But at the end of the day, we're here to win games, and we've been able to do that as of recently pretty well. So we just got to continue to take it one week at a time, keep that our main focus. The rest will take care of itself. We're all playing for something bigger than that.
And that was the key at the end of his conference was we're playing for something bigger than that.
That's right.
They understand that the AFC, Mike, is wide open.
No
After
question.
you go
The
and beat the
entire
Broncos
NFL is
there,
wide open.
You bet.
You only have to play one team out of the NFC if you get to the Super Bowl. So, and the Jags. By the way, San Francisco, who the Jags beat on the road, all they have to do, I say all they have to do, but if they win out, they're the number 1 seed, and they have the bye in the NFC. You've beaten that team this year. That's way down the road. But, yeah, the AFC is wide open. And, look, Trevor Lawrence might win AFC Offensive Player of the Month at the rate he's going, and he'll probably end up as getting named a Pro Bowler because we know the way the process works. Guys withdraw throughout the whole thing. But I'm glad to hear that. And I don't expect anything else. These guys are playing to win championships. The first one first, but then to hopefully win more along the way throughout their career. You get a lot more credit for that, particularly as a quarterback, than you do making a random Pro Bowl here or there.
He's so steady. And listen, he always has been. Trevor has never been the guy who goes up or down. Sometimes it's to his detriment. You want to see a little bit more fire from the guy, but he's been so steady, and his performance has been so steady. What do you expect from him today against a Colts defense that's faster indoors, and they've got nothing to lose? They're going to attack under Lou Anarumo.
Well, the question is, how well do the Jags protect today? Because the Jags have issues up front on that offensive line with a lot of injuries from center over to the right side. Anton Harrison downgraded today to questionable
with an illness
for the Jags with an illness. So is he going to be available? I would expect that they're going to put a lot of this game on Trevor Lawrence again because teams, at this point, though, I don't know. Teams have been stacking the box to some degree, forcing Trevor Lawrence to beat him. And now that he's showing he can do that, and not just barely do that. I mean, he's doing that with great flair. He's had 10 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. That maybe things start to loosen up a little bit and they can get their running game going. But I expect Trevor to continue to play well. This is a team that just gave up 5 passing touchdowns on Monday Night Football on a short week to Brock Purdy. I don't see why Trevor Lawrence can't have a big day today.
Well, he talked this week about the passing game. And another player that we haven't even mentioned yet is Sauce Gardner, the former Jets cornerback, Pro Bowler early in his career. The Colts traded for him, 2 first-round picks. He gets injured. He has not played much lately with a calf injury. He is said to be available today. But it doesn't seem to make that much difference because the Jaguars don't focus on one guy.
Right.
Brian Thomas Jr., you would think that. Jacoby Myers. Last week it was Parker Washington. Brenton Strange can play a huge role in this thing as well. The Jaguars have so many options, Mike, about where the passing game can go. And, of course, we've been seeing it week to week with what Liam Cohen is dialing up. Trevor Lawrence talked about just the variety of weapons that he has at his disposal right now.
Fortunately, we have guys, really good players at really every position, especially that touch the ball. Like you look at our wideouts and our tight ends and our running backs. So there's really no telling whose day it's going to be. It just coverage dictates that. Some plays, turn into scrambles, and broken plays turn into big plays. Kind of on Sunday there was a couple of those. So it's hard to say what it's going to be, but you have an idea of maybe it's like specific third down red zone, some areas where guys maybe have a few more opportunities, but it's kind of just played out that way for whatever reason the last few weeks. But it's a credit to just everybody being ready, because you never know who's going to get more opportunities a certain day. Sometimes that's just how the game goes, and you get fed the rock. And obviously Parker did a lot of great things when he got the ball.
So the quarterback is a huge part of the equation, obviously, but the weapons that he has that are healthy and on the field right now is the other thing that makes this offense so difficult to defend.
Oh, and you think back to opening day. Brian Thomas was your unimpeachable number one wide receiver, which right now I feel that's Jacoby Myers. De'Ami Brown and Travis Hunter are probably your next two guys, and they've both disappeared for various reasons. Travis Hunter's obviously hurt, but De'Ami Brown has been phased out of this offense and has been unreliable and hasn't made much of a mark. So they've shifted on the fly. Parker Washington carried over a great offseason right into the regular season. It's like, hey, I'm just going to be ready to go if my number's called upon, and it's been called upon a lot lately. Brenton Strange is evolving into a really good two-way player, and the addition of Myers, even the numbers I don't think justify the impact that he has had on this team. He's just opened things up, and now, when one guy's covered, the offense goes to the guy who is open. A lot of offenses claim that, but they also oftentimes have a guy who has that gravity where he's got to draw in 12 targets a game. The Jags are not like that.
All right, let's turn our attention to defense real quick. And we could talk about Jonathan Taylor, who has not had a big game since November 9th. It has been that long. And, of course, it's a good segment of why they're losing, because they haven't been able to establish the running game, and Taylor is a dominant player. But Rivers is the story today, and he has been the last couple of weeks. Liam Cohen, an offensive mind, a guy who understands that side of the ball so well, offered his thoughts on Phillip Rivers.
He's able to command. He knows the system. They obviously have a very strong connection with him and Shane and that staff. And so you can see that there's a guy that's running their offense. He's able to make checks and get to things that he knows are beaters against certain looks and coverages. And those guys are making plays for him out on the perimeter. So nothing's really changed in terms of our preparation of how we were going into this game the first time against Daniel and what that looked like. So very good offense still, as you guys saw the other night.
So, Mike, for all of his physical limitations as a 44-year-old that can't drive the ball down the field like he did for so many years, the word out of Indianapolis is the ball always goes where the ball is supposed to go with Phillip Rivers, or at least it has the first 2 weeks that he's played.
And he played a lot better his second time around, threw nearly 280 and a couple of touchdowns, and Alec Pierce has really had a good connection with him, but he still can't hit that big play. He can't hit you over the top for 40. Right now, maybe he can throw a 20 and there's run after the catch, but I think it does let you be a little bit more aggressive and sneak your defense up to help with Jonathan Taylor, who, by the way, look, Derrick Henry had not been on that kind of a roll until he was yesterday.
216 and 4 scores.
Right. So
and this guy can
Jonathan Taylor has the ability to have that kind of performance, and I'm sure the Jags are well aware of it.
And the Jaguars obviously understand what this quarterback is capable of doing, and if they don't stop Jonathan Taylor, then the quarterback is even better. Against a depleted secondary, the Jaguars lose Jordan Lewis this week to a foot injury. And so I asked Josh Hines-Allen a bit about Phillip Rivers as well and their approach to a quarterback who can beat you with his mind.
He's doing what he's supposed to do, you know what I mean, for a guy that just came off, from coaching his high school team or, whatever he was doing. Like, to come into the professional football league and, deliver touchdowns, deliver passes. They say he can't throw it deep, but still getting the ball to where it needs to be, getting guys lined up right, making sure everything's functional. So, kudos to him with that. But at the end of the day, man, we got a job to do.
Colts are playing without some guys on their offensive line as well. The center is not going to play today. The right tackle is a rookie, a guy who's been filling in. The front is going to have to help the secondary against Phillip Rivers. and stopping the run is just part of that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Look, I mean, if you can corral Jonathan Taylor and put more pressure on Phillip Rivers to continue to make plays at the age of 44, I think that's the way you go. But I think the Colts are going to do everything they can to shorten the game. Every first down, if I'm Indianapolis, I'm working that play clock down. I'm just running it, particularly if I get a lead at any point in this game. But, again, if their defense doesn't play better than what we saw on Monday night, it's not going to matter, and the Jags are going to be able to go up and down the field on it.
All right, a big one for the Jaguars. Win today and then beat the Titans next week is what it takes for them to claim the AFC South title and to get that home playoff game in 2 weeks. All right, well, we're coming up on the Publix Tailgate Show.
He does a good job of emphasizing that edge that we need to play with, and I think he's a great head coach, and it's easy to believe in what he believes in.
Listen, this is a really confident secondary despite the loss of Jordan Lewis, so we'll hear from Jarian Jones coming up. But first, CBS Sports senior writer Pete Prisco's perspective on today's game. The Jags and the Colts come your way 1 o'clock. This is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
It's game time, Jaguars fans. This season, feed your fandom with the Jaguars sub from Publix, the official supermarket of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow! Sink your teeth into crispy chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, melted cheddar, sweet coleslaw, and smoky barbecue mayo, all stacked on a fresh white roll. Taste the hype only at Jacksonville Publix locations. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over.
Brought to you by FDOT.
Jags fans, this season make your game day even tastier with Al's Pizza in the stadium, and then you can enjoy even more with the Al's Pizza Pickoff promo after the game. When the Jaguars get 2 interceptions in one game, you'll score 50% off one pizza, any size you want, for 48 hours after the game. Just tell them you want the Jags Pick promo when you order. Up your game and your pizza with Al's at the stadium or any of their 5 locations.
A bold change. A historic development is underway for the Bold City, and the Jacksonville Jaguars and team partners are a part of it. Introducing First and Forward, a development partner program highlighting the significant contributions made toward the transformative efforts to the city of Jacksonville. Thank you, Belter, Brooks Building Solutions, Jackson Electric Supply, Office Images, Sims Crane, Start Tech, and People's Gas. Championing progress on the field and in the community. The First and Forward program. The First Coast Forward Together. To learn more, visit jaguars.com/forward together.
Game day means it's time to get loud, get proud, and get real. As a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Deep Eddy Vodka brings real flavor made with real ingredients to every tailgate, watch party, and post-game toast. Handcrafted in small batches in Austen, Texas, Deep Eddy Vodka is distilled 10 times and is made with purified Texas water, real fruit juice, and pure cane sugar. Wherever you're cheering on the Jaguars, make every moment a real one with Deep Eddy Vodka, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Please stay drink responsibly. Deep Eddy Vodka is a product of Deep Eddy Distilling Company, Austin, Texas. 35 to 40% alcohol by volume, distilled from corn.
Big number 1 Duval Ford is trusted by Duval families, Duval businesses, and law enforcement across Florida. We're Jacksonville's largest Ford dealer by new Ford sales with the biggest service facility to keep everything in your driveway and in your fleet on the road. Shop Big number 1 Duval Ford on Cassett Avenue for our low prices and nationally recognized service-first experience. Big number 1 Duval Ford, proudly serving North Florida since 1916.
The Publix Tailgate Show rolls along. Brian and Mike with you from the Hyundai Studios in Jacksonville. Jaguars kickoff in Indianapolis at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. And this football team got some measure of respect this week. You go in and you beat the Broncos in Denver, and you beat them by 2 touchdowns like they did. People are going to pay attention. Pete Prisco's a guy you've been talking to all season long. What were his thoughts?
Yeah, Pete gives him credit ahead of the curve anyway. But, yeah, they have risen up in a lot of power polls. So I started out with Pete, just obviously with the play of Trevor Lawrence. And is this level of play we're seeing from Trevor the best that Pete's ever seen?
It is, and I don't think there's any question about that. It's not just the numbers and rolling up the touchdown passes and running with the football. It's just the whole body of work, Mike. He's just confident. You can see him going through his progressions. He knows where to go with the football before the snap. He has a firm grasp of the offense, and it's just bleeding over into his play. You can just tell that the confidence that he probably didn't have early in the season is now coming out on play after play after play, and I think that's the biggest difference for him. I don't think he's ever been this confident in himself as an NFL quarterback.
And I think, Pete, he's got weapons right now that he has a lot of trust in as well. And any given week, it could be Brenton Strange, it could be Parker Washington, Jacoby Myers, Brian Thomas. Somebody could be the leading receiver, and it shouldn't surprise you who it is.
Yeah, and that's the good thing about it. Remember, look, before the season, we thought there would be a true number one in Brian Thomas. That hasn't worked out. We thought there would be a number two maybe in Travis Hunter. That clearly hasn't worked out. He's on injury reserve, and now he's had to deal with a bunch of new guys stepping up and becoming big-time players. I mean, you look at Parker Washington. He was kind of an afterthought in the summer, and now he's putting up big numbers week in and week out, and he's become a real reliable part of their offense. You know, getting Jacoby Myers, big part of the offense, and anytime you have a tight end like Strange, he can catch the ball and become a factor in the middle of the field. So I think he's done a great job spreading the ball around, but I think those guys have really elevated their game, and the confidence, again, goes back to those guys catching the football.
And I think also, Pete, when Liam Cohen sees that teams are stacking the box, he is content to put the ball in Trevor Lawrence's hands and throw it. But does the Jaguars' running game need to be a little bit more effective as we head into the postseason days here?
Yeah, it does, and recent weeks it's kind of tailed off a little bit, but I give them credit actually last week. I think if they had gone into Denver and gone run, go make a play on third down, it would have been a problem against that pass rush, and they kind of dictated tempo, and that's where Liam Cohen has become a really good play caller. Against the Jets a couple of weeks ago, the Jets played to stop the run. That's what they were going to do. They brought the eighth man down when they attacked them through the air. You don't necessarily have to run the football just to be a good offense. You have to take what they give you, and I think he's done a great job of that. So I think we're getting a little ahead of ourselves when it comes to the running game not being where it needs to be, because I still think you throw to score, you run to win, and the question becomes moving forward, can they run when they need to run it?
And the Jags, of course, Pete, clinched a playoff berth on Monday when the Colts lost, but the Colts are still fighting for their playoff lives. They're not officially eliminated yet. And what did you see from Phillip Rivers in his second game? The first week looked terrible. The second week he threw for about 280, and it didn't look too bad to the naked eye.
No, it didn't. But, again, he's not driving the ball down the field. You saw some throws where he could have hit him down the field, and he couldn't get the ball there. He's just so smart and so willing to stand in there and go through his reads and make the right throws. And his pre-snap quarterbacking is still as good as anybody in the league. So you gotta make sure you're on your assignments and you can't blow coverages because he will find the guy who's open. But the other part of that is they've had a lot of injuries on both sides of the ball, and I think they're playing like a team that's had a lot of injuries on both sides of the ball. So this is a great opportunity for Jacksonville to go up there and look, get one. Get out of there, get one next week, and then you see where your chips fall.
Yeah, no doubt. Jonathan Taylor has had a lot more success in Indianapolis against Jacksonville than he's had on the road, Pete. Can the Jags defense get the job done against him today?
Well, they've been good against the run all year, and, again, the focal point of that offense is Jonathan Taylor. And I thought, San Francisco the other night wasn't good against the run, and they actually did a pretty good job against him, knowing that you had to take him away. And I think that's going to be the focal point again. Take him away and make Phillip Rivers in that passing game beat you, and I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to load up to stop the run. Can they do it? That the one thing with Jonathan Taylor, and you know this, you got to keep him from the big play.
That's right.
It didn't. He was looking for the big play the other night, all night long, and he never really got to it. He looked frustrated a little bit, and I think that's what you have to do with him.
Liam Cohen has been a master motivator, using any slights, perceived or otherwise, to fire up his team. Pete, can he use the fact that Ross Matisic is the only Pro Bowler non-alternate out of this Jaguar squad this year to kind of play that disrespect card one more time?
Well, he's going to use it. I mean, there's no question about that. And, the other part of that is, who actually should be in the Pro Bowl? I mean, maybe Devin Lloyd. Maybe. So I think you look at it from that standpoint. It's also a tribute to what they've done as a team and as a coaching staff to get this group where it is right now. and the way they're playing, that the fact is they don't have really any true Pro Bowl, snubs. I mean, you could make a case for a couple guys, but you could also understand why they're not on the team. So he'll use it. He's done a great job with all that stuff, but I don't necessarily think this is one of those that's going to play too long for him in terms of the motivational part of it.
All right, how does today's contest go?
I think the Jaguars go up there and put a number on them. Get in there, get out, score early, score often. Your offense has been basically unstoppable the last 5 weeks, and that defense has really been banged up and given up a lot of points. You saw what Brock Purdy did to him. Trevor Lawrence, keep on a roll, get out of there, and I think they will. I think they'll handle the business the way they should.
Well, spoke with Pete before yesterday's outcome,
Yeah, right.
so the Colts not anymore alive in the playoff chase. And I hope it goes the way Pete's describing. We all do, right? Take a little stress off, get out early, and play from ahead. But I don't know, the closer this one's getting, Brian, maybe it's just my own nature. I'm just starting to think of all the different ways things could go wrong.
Well, let
today.
me give you, and I think it's a natural reaction for people who cover or follow this team because we've seen them fall into the valleys at times. And they're at a peak right now based on what they did last week. And there is a valley if you don't go play very well. And this team in Indy certainly has playmakers. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, we've mentioned. Alec Pierce, you've mentioned. Tyler Warren is a guy who is a terrific playmaker and can make things happen. Here's where my confidence comes from. I think this is the best offense in Jaguars history, right? The numbers say it. 27 points a game. No one has ever averaged 27 points a game in Jaguars history. A couple that have averaged 25 in 2017 and 2007. They have 12 games of 25 or more points. The next closest team had 8. They have 8 in a row. The next closest team had 6. When you look at this overall, you don't have the Fred Taylor 17 touchdowns. You don't have Jimmy Smith in 99 with 1,600 yards. You don't have Maurice Jones-Drew with 1,600 yards leading the league in rushing. You don't have the individual superlatives, but you have a team offensively that's put together what I think is the best stretch of offense in Jaguars history.
I don't disagree. The question is today, how healthy is the offensive line going to be, and which members of that offensive line are going to be able to play and play up to their capabilities? And I know they've had good depth, but it hasn't been tested to the extent it might be today based on some of the pre-existing injuries coming in.
Well, we know Anton Harrison, the right tackle, has been downgraded to questionable with an illness. We saw earlier in the year that's precautionary as much as anything in case they have to pull him out of the game. They've got to do that. I would expect that he would play based on Trevor Lawrence. I think in San Francisco earlier this year, sort of the same thing where he was ill. We'll find out. We know Patrick McCarry is not going to play, so you're going to have a right guard change. And then the center is Robert Hainsey is questionable because he had the groin injury last week in Denver. So we'll find out. That's coming up in about an hour. The Jaguars' offensive line has played well. They've played with a variety of lineups. We'll see if they can keep that going today. Let's turn to the attention to the secondary, which has 19 interceptions, leading the AFC today. They might also lead the NFL in lineup changes, kind of like the offensive line. They were running on and off the field last week in Denver when Jordan Lewis and Greg Newsome both left the game with injuries, and they'll have another change today. Lewis is on injured reserve. Cornerback Jarian Jones stepped up with that game-sealing interception last Sunday, is confident in his team and himself again this afternoon against Phillip Rivers and the Colts in Indianapolis.
I think a little bit of both. I think it's just who I am, but I'm naturally like a super confident guy. I believe in me, I believe in us, and I believe in everything we got going on.
Tell me about this locker room, because there's a tangible level of confidence, of chemistry. It wasn't here at the end of last year, just being honest. Tell me about when it turned. When did this locker room go from being, to whoa?
It's hard to pinpoint a certain time that it kind of turned over. I always seen the belief in the players that we had in each other, but I think having a young head coach that also has that same belief in himself and us, I think it just kind of merged, and so now it's like one big ball of confidence, so I think we play with that, and he does a good job of emphasizing that edge that we need to play with, and I think he's a great head coach, and it's easy to believe in what he believes in.
I think the secondary is a great example of this team playing unselfish, because you all are going in and out of the lineup, and it doesn't seem to matter to anybody. Everybody's getting theirs. Can you just talk about how you guys are as a room?
Everybody's just doing their 111, making the plays that come to you. Camp says it the best when he says, the like the constant belief in everyone doing their job. Like trust is the biggest thing you can measure a defense by. Just trusting each other to be where it's supposed to be. And I think that's what we got a lot of right now, no matter who's in the lineup, who's in, you know what I'm saying, who's out. I think you just see a lot of trust between each other.
There's a lot riding on every game the rest of the way. Do you feel that pressure on game day, or can you just cut it loose and let it rip?
Cut it loose. No pressure. Ain't no pressure in being yourself. I think the pressure comes when you try to do something outside of what you always do. Ain't no pressure being yourself, and I think we prepared the right way. So just doing everything that you do in practice get you in the right position for the game.
Colts, you just saw them a couple of weeks ago. How does that help in your preparation, knowing what they do? And does Phillip Rivers present a different challenge?
Quality team, Hall of Fame quarterback, you got to always be on, you know what I'm saying, your P's and Q's, and you go against a team like that, especially with a quarterback like that. Seeing them a couple days ago, you know a little bit about them. You know, we've seen them already. But, you can't take no game lightly, no team lightly, especially a quality team like that. So you just got to come to work.
And you said in the locker room in Denver famously, anyone, anytime, anywhere. This whole locker room share that belief?
You know it. We ready to do it anywhere.
How much fun is this? Right before Christmas, and you're playing for the division title and everything in front of you. It wasn't this fun last year. I mean, this is great. This is why you play, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so fun. Especially when it's time to nut up. When somebody got to nut up, those are the moments I kind of live for. So, this is real fun right now.
He's fun. I mean, and this defense has been fun to watch. The last 3 weeks, they've closed the door, right? They've closed the door with takeaways like he did last week against the Jets, against the Colts, and against the Broncos. They're going to need to keep the edge today against Jonathan Taylor. And when I asked him about that, he just smiled. He goes, we know who 28 is, and we know what 28 does.
That's the first part of your game plan, is making sure he doesn't take over and have one of those dominant days. And he has not been on that dominant run. Last time he went over 100 yards, he had 244 in a game, but it's been 5 games since then, including the Jags holding him to 74 yards on 21 carries. So you got your work cut out for you, but tackle well, and they can get it done.
All right, well, coming up in about 15 minutes, Jeff Lageman and Bucky Brooks will join us from the broadcast booth at Lucas Oil Stadium. But up next,
I think our room understands we're going to need them all. And so we've been, especially at the corners and the safety position, it's been like a rotation.
That's Ron Milas, whose secondary will be under the microscope today against Phillip Rivers, and we'll hear from the Jaguars defensive backs coach coming up shortly. Jaguars, Colts, 1 o'clock. This is the Publix Tailgate Show, and this is Jaguars Radio.
It's game time, Jaguars fans. This season, feed your fandom with the Jaguars sub from Publix, the official supermarket of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow! Sink your teeth into crispy chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, melted cheddar, sweet coleslaw, and smoky barbecue mayo, all stacked on a fresh white roll. Taste the hype only at Jacksonville Publix locations. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Hey, fellow Floridians, it's Ben.
And Brianna Smith. We are foodies who love sharing recipes online.
And trying new cooking techniques on our new natural gas stove.
He loves his precise temperature control on the heat.
Yeah, I also love saving money and using less energy.
Oh, watch that flame.
So, who loves to be in control?
Now earn up to a $300 cashback rebate for installing a new energy-efficient natural gas range or stovetop. To learn more, go to peoplesgas.com/rebates.
Right Now Beach Boulevard is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars football fires up your Sundays, and a Yamaha boat brings on-the-water thrills to get you through the other 6 days of the week. Check out the extensive Yamaha boat selection at Ride Now Beach Boulevard in Jacksonville or online at ridenowbeachboulevard.com. Their prices will not be beat. You and the Jaguars can both win this season. Just mention Jaguars at the time of your purchase. Go Jags! Touchdown at Jaguars away games when you fly nonstop from Jacksonville International Airport. Catch epic showdowns in Cincinnati and Denver. Turn up the heat in Phoenix and Las Vegas. Support your Jaguars in divisional clashes in Houston, Nashville, and Indianapolis. View real-time parking, security, and flight updates on flyjacks.com. Whether you stick with the play call or you need an audible, they'll be your teammate every step of the way. Book your nonstop flights today. Learn more at flyjacks.com.
You say there's nothing quite like the feel of the open road when you ride a motorcycle. You know it takes concentration, knowledge, and skills beyond those required to drive a car. Ride Smart Florida would like to take this opportunity to remind you to enjoy the road, but to always ride smart. S-M-A-R-T. Say no to drinking and riding. Make yourself more visible to motorists. Always wear your helmet. Ride in control. Train regularly and get endorsed. Visit RideSmartFlorida.com for more details. Do you ride smart? This message is provided by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Frank Frangie here. When you think of barbecue in Jacksonville, it's got to be Bono's Pit Barbecue. For over 75 years, Bono's has been smoking Jacksonville's favorite barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So go to bonosbarbecue.com or call their fantastic catering department at 904-332-7427. That's 904-332-7427. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Welcome back to the Publix Tailgate Show. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. Brian Sexton and Mike Dempsey with you from the Hyundai Studios in Jacksonville. And we have the Jaguars and Colts coming up at 1 o'clock Eastern Time at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. In case you're just joining us, here's the deal for the Jaguars to secure the AFC South title, win today, and win next week. Jaguars are focused only on winning today. And it's time now for our weekly commentary with Rick Ballou.
The Jags back on the road where they have been impressive. As a matter of fact, they've been better there than at home. You take away that awful pass interference call on Travis Hunter in Cincinnati, and of course the Houston fourth quarter lead, which they let slip away. And the Jags are undefeated away from Duval. Now, I know that's the lead. You can make that case about several teams where it comes down to a play here, play there, mistake here, mistake there. After all, most games are decided by one possession in the NFL. But that's not what the Jags have been doing. During this 6-game win streak, they've won by an average of 18.8 points. They just knocked off Denver, where they were the only undefeated home team at 7-0 before the Jags ended that streak. Perhaps the most impressive part of last week's victory was the adversity that this football team overcame. 3 3-and-outs in their first 4 possessions. Trevor Lawrence was getting sacked, pressured. The Jags couldn't run the football. To overcome that, they put up 34 points, including scoring 4 touchdowns against the best red zone defense in the NFL. Unfortunately, the Jags lost Jordan Lewis. From the moment he arrived, he became a difference maker. He was voted captain, and his leadership was just huge with his younger secondary. Anthony Campanelli has done a fantastic job rotating his 4 corners. Where he goes now will be interesting to see. The Jags are 8 points away from a franchise record in points. Jacksonville, 31. Indianapolis, 17.
You can catch more with Rick Ballou on Into the Night with Rick Ballou, weeknights from 6 to 8 on 1010XL. Well, we just heard from Jarian Jones a few moments ago, and that rotation in the defensive backfield will be in full swing again today and against a super smart quarterback in Phillip Rivers. Secondary coach Ron Miles knows Rivers well. They were together for 8 seasons with the Chargers, and so I asked him about the 44-year-old's return to professional football after a 5-year absence.
A little bit, just because it's been, 5 years since the last time he's put the pads on. But when you really look at it, the relationship with Shane and him and the situation in which they're in, it kind of makes sense because he's got a stranglehold on the offense. He knows that thing inside and out. No matter if he had been a high school coach down there in Alabama or coming back, you can see he's got command of what's going on.
Yeah, when you watch the tape, that's what you see, right? Not necessarily the same physical guy, but the same quarterback.
Absolutely. You see him. He's the general on the field. He probably knows what we're doing as well as we know what we're doing just because of the fact he's done it for such a long period of time. And even when I was with the Chargers and he was with the Chargers, he would know, hey, you're in the wrong spot. Move over some. He has an idea of what's going on both sides of the ball.
So even though they've lost a couple in a row, they're still in this thing. This is an important game for both teams, and that brings an edge to it, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they still got something to play for. Obviously, we have something to play for. We've got a very good football team. Obviously, I've got some history with that organization coming from there. Been there the last 3 years. Love to go in there and see if we can get a win.
The league has really tried to increase drama at the end of the year by putting all of these divisional games. I think they've done an outstanding job. Kind of expect that team and your team to both come out wound up.
Absolutely. And like you said, the league has done that over the years. You just kind of go back over time. I was with the Raiders one time, and we were in a similar situation where you either had to win out and play teams such as the Colts or whoever it might have been. And I think it's been good for football, good for the National Football League. It's not like they have an understanding that who's at the end of the season, who has a chance to be good.
Tell me about your room, because it seems like you've got a lot of guys who are playing different roles, and yet everyone seems to be completely unselfish. Is that room, or is that room plus this time of year and where this team is?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, I think our room understands we're going to need them all. And so we've been, especially at the corners and the safety position, it's been like a rotation. We may start off with Greg and Buster, but Jarian gets his play. Same thing that's happened at the safety position. So we're lucky enough that we have enough guys that we feel very comfortable putting in a game in crunch time, and we kind of have an idea what's going to happen.
What did it mean to you to get Eric Murray back on the field? It seems like there's a different level of cohesion with that unit with him on the field.
Oh, absolutely. He's a guy that's been around the league for a number of years. Obviously, we missed him when he was out. He's like a extra coach on the field or a quarterback on the field for us. I think with him, Dewey, AJ, those three guys have done a wonderful job.
Antonio Johnson's kind of been my example of how this team has grown, because when Eric wasn't on the field, he was and making plays. Did you see this incrementally, or did it just turn on with him?
Oh, he's been doing this really. He's been doing it since the summertime. I think he's come on. Obviously, he's been able to catch the football. He's flashed in the run game. I think AP has done a really good job with those guys also. So at the end of the day, AP is where he needs to be.
Give me a 30,000-foot perspective. You've been around this game a long time. This team has something going from a chemistry perspective. It's tangible. I mean, you can see it, hear it. You can almost taste it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think that comes from the top, how Liam approaches us every day as coaches, as players, and then what Camp on the defensive side brings to the table. The emphasis on turnovers, those type of things, has helped us greatly.
Final thought, how much fun is it to play football and coach football, the week of Christmas with a lot on the line and with a lot in front of you still?
Well, this is what it's all about. This is, if you would have said back in the summer, hey, we're going to be in this position, we would all say, we'll take it. And we're in this position, and we are fortunate, but we have worked hard enough to get ourselves in this position. So hopefully we'll keep on going for at least another month or and a half.
Just a nod to the job they've done on defense this year. 19 interceptions is the most in the AFC, second only to the Chicago Bears, and a secondary and a pass defense that was rated 32nd at the end of last year and really limped into the offseason. I mean, that was not a good unit at all. They're 25th. They've been as high as 20th this year. The secondary has taken a gigantic step forward, and Eric Murray and Jordan Lewis, who is now gone for the year with the injured foot, were a big reason why. Oh,
absolutely. Particularly early in the season, they hit right away, and then they kind of cooled off a little bit. Particularly Jordan Lewis, I think, went through a little bit of a fallow period in terms of production. But, you lose him, you trade Tyson Campbell, you get Greg Newsome in, who didn't click immediately with this team. You've had to dig deep on your bench to play guys you expected to have. Travis Hunter, who might have turned out to be your best cover guy, and you really only had a sprinkling of him this year. So it's been a position group that's been in flux, but they haven't cost the Jags very much. Obviously, they've had a couple of bad games along the way, but you expect that over the course of the season.
And they've had to deal with a defensive front that's pressured the quarterback, but hasn't got the quarterback on the ground very much, which has made it's made that number 25, where they're ranked currently going in. It's probably plus that up a little bit because they haven't been able to count on the sacks that some of the other teams in the league have been able to.
No doubt about it. I mean, pressure helps, and it's good, and it's fine, but you'd rather get the quarterback on the ground. Right now, if the pressure leads to an errant throw and an interception, that can be even better than getting the sack, obviously. But, the Jags, I think, have been a little less than we expected in that position group up front with the defensive line. Eric Armstead got off to a hot start. Then he kind of cooled off. Trayvon Walker's never put up the big numbers. I know he was dealing with the hand injury for a long stretch now. And, Josh Hines-Allen is not that 15-plus sack guy. And not that he's had a bad year. They just haven't had that one guy and the overall impact with the pass rush that we would have hoped.
And we'll see how the defense does today if they can force the Colts to abandon the run and put it all on the shoulders of 44-year-old Phillip Rivers. Well, from the backyard to the beaches, the Ford F-150 with available Pro Power onboard gives you the power of a mobile generator. Ford, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, invites you to see your local Ford dealer today. Well, coming up at 11 o'clock Eastern Time, we present Hour 2 of the Publix Tailgate Show. When we return, though, we go to Indianapolis to talk football with Jeff Lageman and Bucky Brooks. The Jags and Colts kick off at 1 o'clock. You're listening to the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
Football and Miller Lite. Duval's greatest pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going well past postgame. Sunday night overtimes. Followed by Monday morning pride. Knocking on bar tops for luck. Kicking back on any given Sunday. You never forget the way some things taste. Jags football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Is your organization ready to tackle its toughest challenges? For 3 decades, CSI Companies, based in Jacksonville, has been the trusted workforce partner for leading healthcare and technology providers nationwide. Whether finding the right talent for a specific job, advising on a strategic project, or offering seamless managed services, they tailor every solution to fit your needs. CSI brings trusted expertise and a people-first approach to your organization. Get the job done right. Together, we go further. Learn more at CSICompanies.com.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal made just for you, let our team member Jacob share what's special about Culver's.
In Wisconsin, our food comes from the heart, and taking the time to handcraft your meal with care is how we've always done it at Culver's. It's why your Butterburger doesn't touch the grill until after you order.
Come to Culver's and let us serve you a Butterburger made special just for you. From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
RingCentral's AI receptionist uses voice AI to answer on the first ring, so you'll never miss a call again. In just a few minutes, you can personalize your own AI receptionist to answer questions, route calls, schedule appointments, and even send texts in multiple languages. Plus, it's easy to scale. Create unlimited AI receptionists across any phone system. It's all powered by one reliable platform for effortless AI communications. See for yourself at ringcentral.com. RingCentral, voice of your business.
A bold change. A historic development is underway for the bold city, and the Jacksonville Jaguars and team partners are a part of it. Introducing First and Forward, a development partner program highlighting the significant contributions made toward the transformative efforts to the city of Jacksonville. Thank you, Belter, Brooks Building Solutions, Jackson Electric Supply, Office Images, Sims Crane, Start Tech, and People's Gas. Championing progress on the field and in the community. The First and Forward program. The First Coast Forward Together. To learn more, visit Jaguars.com/forward together.
Frank Frangie here. When you think of barbecue in Jacksonville, it's got to be Bono's Pit Barbecue. For over 75 years, Bono's has been smoking Jacksonville's favorite barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So go to bonosbarbecue.com or call their fantastic catering department at 904-332-7427. That's 904-332-7427. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Welcome back to the Publix Tailgate Show. Brian Sexton, Mike Dempsey with you from the Hyundai Studios inside the Miller Electric Center. Jags and Colts kick off at Lucas Oil Stadium at 1 o'clock, and we head there now to the Heritage of North Florida broadcast booth where Jeff Lageman and Bucky Brooks are standing by. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all of that to you guys. How are you?
Doing fantastic. It's great, man. I mean, playoffs is almost here, and you got a big game today and a division opponent, and hopefully try to finish this thing out.
Yeah, no, it's really exciting. We talk about meaningful football.
to be able to take another step closer to winning a division title, that'd be great.
I had a conversation this week during the TV show and commercial breaks and everything with Parker Washington, and just the absolute joy of a player having the opportunity to play in moments like this. It's truly special. I mean, I think back, my first 6 years in the league had one playoff game opportunity, and we didn't even have a winning record. It's the game that Kevin Gilbride and Buddy had their confrontation, and there was a punch thrown. You probably remember that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I got to the Jaguars in '96, and all of a sudden this is magic.
Yeah.
I mean, this is magic. This is what you play the game for, and so fired up for this opportunity with this Jaguars football team, and if they can close this thing out, get a home playoff game, it would be incredible.
All right, guys, well, let's start off with Finding Solutions presented by UF Health, the proud healthcare partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Do the Jags have enough depth as a solution if they're down more than one starter on the offensive line today?
I'm going to let you go first, Bucky, on this one.
Yeah, I mean, look, I will say this. They've done a great job of playing musical chairs at the front line. The things that they've been able to do on game day with the numerous injuries, being able to find a way to get it done, and that's part of the reason why you prepare the way they prepared in training camp. You throw people around, you put different combinations together so that they can develop a chemistry in case the bad things happen. And, yeah, I'm confident that no matter what happens when it comes to an injury, they'll be able to put 5 guys that can work together and be effective.
Yeah, and look, what we're talking about here is, look, Hainsey's questionable, McCary's out. Anton Harrison, a late addition to the injury report, questionable with an illness. I think they can handle it. Now, look, the reality is, how are they going to do that? Well, Monheim would take over the center spot. If Walker Little has to move to the right tackle spot, great. Wyatt Milam can insert at right guard. I would be very confident with that offensive lineup, and here's why. Because, look, the Colts defense is not the defense that we faced the first time around. And also in some respects it's not even that good because DeForest Buckner's beat up. Now he's on IR. Grover Stewart is also beat up. He's got a big neck roll. And they're playing a football team that's not highly motivated, So I think it's going to be an interesting proposition, and hopefully it doesn't get to that, but it may. And the reality is, look, the Colts have been doing the same thing. So it's not something that's unique to the Jaguars.
All right, guys, Trevor Lawrence has been playing what many consider to be the best stretch of football in his career. Do we just assume now that he has arrived to a higher level of play, or is this still something that's going to be a little bit of a roller coaster at times?
Well, and I think that's another reason why I'm not that concerned about the offensive line, because I think he's playing at a level, Mike, that he's here to stay. Now, I don't expect him to be a 120 quarterback rating every week, but I expect him to play incredibly well. And when a quarterback finally sees it, I don't think there's any reason to expect that to change. And the other thing that he's doing really well, he's doing a really good job of spreading the ball to everybody. It's not about forcing the ball to one guy. He's throwing to the open guy. Now imagine if all of a sudden this offensive line and running game gets going a little bit. How good can they be then? If that running game returns to the early season form.
Jeff, you hit the nail on the head in terms of, Trevor settling in, and the confidence, I can tell you, is real. And I felt like the confidence really came out of the 4-interception or 4-turnover performance against the Cardinals, where he was resilient, he's bounced back, and he's been terrific since. And you really can tell how the team feels about the quarterback with the hope that he provides whenever he's on the field. When you look at the team, you hear the team talk, man, they talk about 16 glowingly. That confidence is real, and it makes you play harder on defense. It makes the playmakers on the outside run their routes because everyone feels that number 16 is playing at a level where we can go to the title.
And if you went back just and looked at his numbers against teams specifically, you could probably say that his best numbers have always been against the Colts.
Yeah.
So, we also have that to hang our hat on.
Well, the Colts would have that hang on Jonathan Taylor, at least at home, right? Jonathan Taylor in Jacksonville never gone over 100 yards against the Jags. In Indy, he's never gone under 116 yards against the Jags. Will the Jaguars continue to have the answer for him this time on the road?
Well, I think they know that they have to stop him. He's the little the straw that stirs the drink, so you have to make sure you contain him. And even with Phillip Rivers being there and they're throwing it all over the yard, you have to stop the run and force this team to be one-dimensional. When you have that, you have success. I think it's the same game plan, the same mentality. They talked about all hats on the ball, everyone bringing your big boy pads to hit 28. it has to be the same mission and message this week.
Yeah, and I feel confident that the Jaguars can do it. Now, are they going to stop them and hold them under 74 yards like they did the last game? I don't know if that's going to happen. But the reality is I think the Jaguars can play winning football against Jonathan Taylor. And if you look at his recent numbers, he's off. And it's almost embarrassing that last week, even though you've got Phillip Rivers at quarterback, he's got 16 carries in that game. How do you have arguably with the number one back in the National Football League with a 44-year-old quarterback in a critical game, and you only hand the ball off to him 16 times? It's kind of embarrassing, to be honest with you. But, the reality is his performance in the early part of the season compared to the last 5 games, vastly different. Last 5 games, he's only averaging about 3.5 yards a carry, where the first, 11 games or whatever it was, he was ripping it.
Yeah, it tells you how good he was. Those 11 games, he's still averaging over 5 yards a pop for the whole season. But hopefully the Jags can keep him down today. Guys, look, the Jags have had their share of injuries, but not many season-ending injuries, with the exception of Travis Hunter early. Jordan Lewis's absence now going forward, how much will he be missed?
He'll be missed a lot. He'll be missed a lot just because of the leadership and just the chemistry that he added to the secondary. He is a coach on the field. The way that he directs the young guys, in particular Antonio Johnson and Jerry Jones, can't be underestimated. I see him in pregame warm-ups basically coaching those guys through drills and those things and issuing tips and reminders throughout the course of the game. You're going to miss that, but I think the improved way that we've seen Jones and Johnson and those guys play, they're ready to carry the baton. I think we can overcome it, even though he's a huge loss in the back end.
I totally agree. I really believe that Jarian's standard of level of play, Monteric's level of play. Look, I'm willing to give Ron Miles some credit, and then also Anthony Perkins, 2 great coaches, but I give a lot of that to Jordan Lewis. And the great thing is that leadership's not going away.
Yeah.
He's still going to be in the building. He's still going to be around those guys, and his presence will be felt. And when Liam Cohen was asked about him the other day, the first words out of his mouth, great leader. Great leader, and that is so true.
If you just saw his interaction with those guys, it's just a testament to his leadership. The way that he gives back, it reminds me of throwback when we all had an old vet that would pour into you. The way that he pours into those young guys, you can tell that it's not about him selfishly holding on to it. It's about making them better, and that's part of his legacy.
You go back in Jaguars history and look at the great veteran that came in and not only played well but had great leadership, and I think of Calais Campbell.
Yes.
I put Jordan Lewis right in that category.
All right, fellas, thanks so much. Have a great broadcast today.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, boys.
Later.
Up next, hour number 2 of the Publix Tailgate Show. Top stories of the day and more coming up. The Jaguars and Colts kick off at 1 o'clock in Week 17. This is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
I'm Foye Oluwakim from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Driving distracted or under the influence is dangerous for you, and it's dangerous for everyone on the road around you. Ride with Do Not Disturb. That call, text, or social media message can wait. Choose your music before you turn the ignition. Anytime your eyes are not on the road ahead, you're distracted, so pay attention. Remember, drive high equals DUI. Plan ahead. Have a designated driver or get a ride home. Keep a clear head to see clear ahead, and let's get everyone home safely.
The kick is up. It's good!
Field goals for Firehouse Subs are back. That means when the Jags score from deep, you do too. Anytime the Jags score a field goal that's 40 yards or more, you can get a free medium sub with the purchase of any other medium sub, online or in the app for 4 days following the game. So cheer on the Jags, watch for the big kicks, and get your buy one, get one free medium sub at participating Firehouse Subs throughout Jacksonville when you use the app. The hottest subs in Duval. See firehousesubs.com for offer terms.
Huddle up, My Gate Rewards members. Football is back. Celebrate with the Duval Meal Deal at Gate. Right now, grab a personal pizza and any 20-ounce Coca-Cola soft drink for just $4.99. No matter what combo you choose, this meal's the perfect play. Happening now through January 5th, 2026. See store for details. A deal that's a victory for every fan. Gates got you.
My husband, Steve, was diagnosed with prostate cancer. They only gave him months to live. That was years ago. Now, he's out there, under the tree, Nature photography is his thing. And apparently, so is catching poison ivy.
Oof, so itchy. UF Health. Human progress has no finish line.
Jags fans, this season make your game day even tastier with Al's Pizza in the stadium, and then you can enjoy even more with the Al's Pizza Pickoff promo after the game. When the Jaguars get 2 interceptions in one game, you'll score 50% off one pizza any size you want for 48 hours after the game. Just tell them you want the Jags Pick promo when you order. Up your game and your pizza with Al's at the stadium or any of their 5 locations. This season, the road to kickoff starts at Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars. From Bay Meadows to Arlington to Westside, Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram is locally owned and proud to serve the First Coast with real pricing and a lifetime powertrain warranty at no extra cost. And let's be honest, there's no vehicle better built for tailgating than a Jeep or a Ram. Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, Bay Meadows, Arlington, and Westside. 3 locations, 1 legendary team.
The Publix Tailgate Show continues right now.
It is hour 2 of the Publix Tailgate Show. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. It's week 17, 2 hours away from the Jacksonville Jaguars, 11-4, the Indianapolis Colts, 8-7, Lucas Oil Stadium, downtown Indy, the site, 1 o'clock kickoff time. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey. We're at the Hyundai Studios of the Miller Electric Center in Jacksonville. Exciting December football. The Texans win yesterday. The Jaguars must win to stay ahead of them in the division. And here we go. Week 17.
Absolutely. Look, even if the Texans had lost, you would still be wanting to claim the division title on your own. I don't think the Jags are looking to slow down the roll that they're on in any way, shape, or form. But this continues to put the Jags in a position, JP, where they are performing under pressure. Games that they don't have to artificially create something. There is something on the line in these football games, and they can't afford to slip up even once if they want to assure themselves of having that home playoff game.
Yeah, and we'll talk about around the league coming up a little bit. A lot of these playoff spots could be wrapped up by the end of the day today.
A bunch of them can, absolutely, and you're right. But I think there's still going to be a little bit of intrigue for week number 18, including with Jacksonville. Jacksonville's still going to need a win or a Houston loss next week to lock up the division, provided that they get that win today.
The Week 18 schedule usually comes out during Sunday Night Football tonight. We'll see if that's the case again. Game day weather brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Waterless. Indianapolis today at 63 degrees. They have a roof at Lucas Oil Stadium, so they'll be playing indoors today. And here are some of today's top stories. The Jaguars, of course, clinching a playoff spot. There is work to be done for the Jaguars, though, here in the 2025 season. Head coach Liam Cohen, you know, he's not worried about the playoffs yet. It's not really in the conversation with the team.
Trying to compete like champions every week, every day, and go throughout the process and see what happens. So, you know, the guys are, I'm sure people are excited to know that there is more football ahead of us, but, you know, we're really trying to just stick within this day and be where we're at, be where our feet are, and go compete against a good Colts team this week.
All right, that's the head coach coach speak version of it. I'm sure there's got to be some kind of conversation of where they are, what they're doing. They're hearing the noise from the outside about it. So involved in that chirping from outside media and stuff is the playoff talk.
Of course. I mean, look, Eric Armstead made a big point of talking about how they heard all the questions after they collapsed against Houston in the fourth quarter. So we're well aware. I mean, they're human beings living in 2025, man. Everyone's got the entire total of human thought and information in the palm of their hand that you can't escape it anymore unless you're putting yourself in a bubble. Now, I'm not saying the team makes that something that they discuss officially, right? That's not they go about their business. Hey, focus on this game. And if they continue to do that, you're going to get to where you want to be. You can know that you're in the playoffs. They're playing for something bigger now. They're playing for at least one home playoff game to be considered division champions. And who knows, maybe a slip up by one of the teams ahead of them. Maybe they get multiple games at home during the postseason.
That would be pretty awesome. And what else has been pretty awesome is the play of Trevor Lawrence lately. 2 or more passing touchdowns and a 100-plus passer rating over the last 4 starts, and he had none above 100 in the first 12 weeks of the season. Trevor Lawrence on a roll and spreading the wealth to a bunch of different guys.
There's really no telling whose day it's going to be. It just coverage dictates that. Some plays, turn into scrambles, and broken plays turn into big plays. Kind of on Sunday, there was a couple of those. So it's hard to say what it's going to be, but you have an idea of maybe it's like specific third down red zone, some areas where guys maybe have a few more opportunities, but it's kind of just played out that way for whatever reason the last few weeks. But it's a credit to just everybody being ready, because you never know who's going to get more opportunities a certain day. Sometimes that's just how the game goes, and you get fed the rock. And obviously Parker did a lot of great things when he got the ball.
Yeah, he certainly did last week. 145 receiving yards, career high for Parker Washington, and a 130 passer rating when he's been targeted since week 10. So Parker stepping up big. Jacoby Myers reliable. The tight end Brenton Strange is there. They got a lot of guys to throw to.
Absolutely. They're balanced. There's not that one guy. You don't have Jamar Chase, which, by the way, Jamar Chase is a great player, right? And he draws a lot of defensive attention, which opens up things for other guys. But you know where the focal point of that passing game is going to go. With the Jags, we talked about it with Brian in the first hour, JP. They lost Travis Hunter. De'Ami Brown's been a non-factor, and Brian Thomas hasn't given them what they expected. Those were supposed to be the top 3, not necessarily in that order coming into the year. Brian Thomas is still making contributions, but Jacoby Myers has changed this group. Parker Washington has been fantastic. Brenton Strange, when healthy this year, has been equally fantastic. So the Jags are very content to go in a lot of different directions. And, oh, by the way, throw the ball to the backs out of the backfield as well. They've been a big part of Trevor Lawrence's success throwing the football this year.
Travis Etienne's been fantastic in that role this season, of course. Offensive coordinator Grant Udinski was talking this week about Trevor Lawrence, and if there was a single moment that stands out about the quarterback turning the corner, it has been a full year process.
Even when the outcomes were not what we wanted earlier in the offseason or even in training camp, I think he always felt, and the coaching staff always felt, that the trend line was always going in the right direction. There was never any let up from him, never any let up from us in terms of that process, and trusting that continuing to stick with that process and put in the work will yield positive outcomes, which he believes it has, we believe it has, and we hope that it'll continue to go in that direction as long as we continue to work that way.
That's the offensive coordinator and the relationship with the quarterback. I'm sure there was a little frustration when there's red zone interceptions earlier in the season, but that's part of the growth process too.
Sure, but it's one thing to have the coaches say, hey, we're seeing it. He's getting better. He's doing the right things. He's making the right decisions. But when you see the level of play that's undeniable over the last few weeks, I mean, when you have 10 touchdowns with no turnovers in a 2-game stretch against any level of competition, you can question it against the Jets, but you do that against Denver's defense on the road. I mean, it's hard to deny what Trevor Lawrence has become. Nobody wants to deny it. We all have been waiting to embrace this version of Trevor Lawrence. Hopefully, he's going to sustain this for a long time.
Let's hear from wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr. He was asked about the chemistry in the locker room this week and if there was a specific moment where he could feel it turn this season.
I wouldn't say it was like a specific moment. I just feel like just coming in with the new coaching staff and everything, I felt like the culture change, the energy change around the building. And I feel like we always knew what we can do and what we had. So just had to put the right pieces in place, and I feel like we've done that and give us a great opportunity to go out there and do what we know we can do.
You can feel that when you walk in the locker room now and discuss football with these guys. It is a professional group. It's an eager group. It's a confident team. And they've got something rolling right now, certainly late in this season.
All right, you don't look at Jacoby Myers as being like an alpha number one wide receiver like some guys are in the NFL, but I think what he did in coming here is take a lot of pressure off Brian Thomas Jr. And, okay, you want to call him the number one, that's fine. The reliable, sure-handed guy. It's not like Jacoby Myers going up and putting out 130 yards and a touchdown every week. He has just become a guy that you can trust in that offense, and that's helped balance things out. And I believe allow allowed Brian Thomas over the last few games to kind of refine himself, and he was going through it early in the season, man. Those drops were a significant issue, and you had to wonder how it was playing on him psychologically. I think right now everybody's playing with a pretty free mind.
It's the Publix Tailgate Show. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey. Let's take a look at the Jaguars defense, of course, facing off against Colts running back Jonathan Taylor. He leads the NFL with 288 carries, 17 rushing touchdowns, and he's second in the league with just under 1,500 rushing yards this year, but he's been held under 90 rushing yards in each of the last 5 games. Defensive coordinator Anthony Campanelli on the discipline needed today.
Anytime you're playing against him, everybody better be doing their job. Everybody better have great gap integrity. This isn't a guy you freelance with and you delve into your autistic interpretation of what everybody should be doing. This is everybody do your job. And do your job to the best of your physical ability, because he can make you look bad in a hurry. I think he's done a tremendous job. Obviously, the whole year, everybody knows that about him. But it takes, all it takes is one guy not executing for him to make you pay.
That's Jonathan Taylor, of course, the running back for the Colts. Anthony Campanelli, the defensive coordinator. Taylor now tied with Edgerrin James for the 4th most scrimmage touchdowns in Colts franchise history. So don't let him get out of the gate, that's for sure. They did a pretty good job in the rain here last time.
They did, but they've always done a good job here. And as we talked about again, Brian and I in the first hour, in Indianapolis, he's never failed to go over 116. 116 is the lowest in 3 games. It's only been 3, but he's had a 200-yard game in there as well. And look, Derrick Henry wasn't having the kind of season that would indicate he was going to go for 200 yards and 4 touchdowns last night in a must-have-it type scenario. Now, the Colts don't have to have it because they're not going to the postseason, but Jonathan Taylor didn't fluke his way to the start he had this year. He has slowed down. That doesn't mean he's not dangerous on a single-game basis opportunity.
And now to the Colts quarterback, Phillip Rivers, 44 years of age, coming out of retirement to fill in late in the season for the Indianapolis Colts. Josh Hines Allen, the pass rusher facing him.
He's doing what he's supposed to do, you know what I mean, for a guy that just came off, from coaching his high school team or, whatever he was doing. Like, to come into the professional football league and, deliver touchdowns, deliver passes. They say he can't throw it deep, but still getting the ball to where it needs to be, getting guys lined up right, making sure everything's functional. So, kudos to him with that, but at the end of the day, man, we got a job to do, and he's gonna have to play some real football this week, and I can't wait. I'm excited.
Yeah, it should be. Hines Allen trying to get after Phillip Rivers, who threw 2 touchdown passes last week. His passer rating was 4.7 his first start 2 weeks ago, 122.7 last week, and Josh Hines Allen, since Week 10, is tied for the league lead in quarterback pressures, according to Next Gen Stats. This would be a good day to hit the quarterback.
Absolutely. And, they're going to try to lean on Jonathan Taylor. At least you would expect that. But they came out throwing on Monday Night Football, and they were successful doing it as well. And really, that game, the momentum changed on a fumble on the kickoff, right? They were matching scores with the San Francisco 49ers. They got behind. They got in some must-pass situations. Rivers ended up throwing a late pick 6 that kind of made the score a little bit more lopsided. But he was significantly better the second time around. We'll see if the Jags can turn back the clock to 2 weeks ago.
And a lot of it's just that savvy veteran presence at the line of scrimmage to maybe throw a dummy call out there and have the defense react and then not change things. He just has that sixth sense about him. All the experience matters.
No doubt about it. And look, if I am the Colts, if I get any kind of lead, I am dragging this game out and I'm dragging the play clock out and I'm trying to frustrate the Jaguars because Phillip Rivers is hard to sack, I think, because he is savvy and he'll probably get rid of the ball fairly quickly. So if you can get a few times where you get him on the ground today, I think that's going to go a long way towards the Jaguar victory.
There you have it, some of the top sound of the week. And then, of course, the Jaguars have plans for 2028. They'll be back better than ever, be among the first to experience the stadium of the future. Cement your place in Jaguars history and place your deposit now at jaguars.com/SOTF tickets and join the future of the Jaguars. We're back in a moment. We're about 15 minutes away from inactives. We'll get those to you when they come down. We'll have a look around the NFL when we return. And the voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor, shares what Phillip Rivers has brought to the Colts locker room. Kickoff at 1 o'clock for the Jaguars and the Colts in Week 17. This is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
It's game time, Jaguars fans. This season, feed your fandom with the Jaguars sub from Publix, the official supermarket of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Sink your teeth into crispy chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, melted cheddar, sweet coleslaw, and smoky barbecue mayo, all stacked on a fresh white roll. Taste the hype only at Jacksonville Publix locations. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
It's here that a tiny newborn has the heart surgery needed to save her life. It's here that a first grader learns to speak clearly and confidently. It's here that a 12-year-old athlete builds the strength to run full speed again. It's here at Wolfson Children's Hospital that answers are found, courage is shown, and odds are beaten every day. Wolfson Children's, always here. Visit wolfsonchildrens.com.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Brooks Rehabilitation is proud to be the official rehabilitation partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We are here for them, and we are here for you. Ranked #1 physical rehabilitation hospital in Florida by U.S. News and World Report, our playbook is individualized treatment and exceptional care to get you back to living your life. Brooks has cutting-edge technology and therapy solutions in every care setting, treating sports injury, orthopedics, brain, spinal injuries, and more. Go beyond your expectations with Brooks Rehabilitation.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over.
Brought to you by FDOT.
The kick is up. It's good!
Field goals for Firehouse Subs are back. That means when the Jags score from deep, you do too. Anytime the Jags score a field goal that's 40 yards or more, you can get a free medium sub with the purchase of any other medium sub, online or in the app for 4 days following the game. So cheer on the Jags, watch for the big kicks, and get your buy one, get one free medium sub at participating Firehouse Subs throughout Jacksonville when you use the app. The hottest subs in Duval. See firehousesubs.com for offer terms.
JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey from the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center in Jacksonville. The Publix Tailgate Show continues inside 2 hours until Week 17. The Jacksonville Jaguars at 11-4. The Indianapolis Colts at 8-7. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff time at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indy. And next week, the Jaguars' final home game of the season. And don't miss it. Join us for the Fan Appreciation Game as the Jags host the Titans. It's your chance in the regular season to cheer on the team as they put on the Prowler throwbacks for the final time this season. Get your seats now, Jaguars.com/tickets, or call 904-633-2000. Playoff implications in that game next week as well, certainly. Playoff implications all weekend in Week 17 around the National Football League.
No doubt, JP. After a triple-header on Christmas Day, the NFL gave us a double-header on Saturday. It started off with C.J. Stroud throwing for 244 yards and a pair of touchdowns as the Houston Texans beat the L.A. Chargers 20-16. And with the win, that improved Houston's record to 11-5, just a half game behind Jacksonville in the AFC South. The Texans clinched a playoff spot with the victory and eliminated the Indianapolis Colts. And then in the nightcap, Derrick Henry ran for 216 and 4 touchdowns as Baltimore defeated Green Bay 41-24. The Ravens still need the Steelers to lose today to remain alive for the playoff spot. Packers quarterback Malik Willis accounted for 348 yards and 3 total touchdowns in the loss, and that loss cemented Green Bay as a wild card team, while the Chicago Bears clinched the NFC North division title as a result. In addition to the Jags and Colts facing off in Indianapolis this afternoon, the AFC South's remaining other team, the 3-12 Tennessee Tennessee Titans will look for their second win in a row as they host the 5-10 New Orleans Saints. The Saints looking for their fourth consecutive victory behind rookie quarterback Tyler Shuck. Several division titles can be clinched today. New England takes the AFC East with a win over the Jets and a Buffalo loss or tie. The Bills have Philadelphia today. Carolina will win the NFC South with a win. They take on Seattle, and that coupled with a Tampa Bay loss or tie to Miami. And Seattle can wrap up the NFC West with a win and losses or ties for both San Francisco and the LA Rams. But speaking of San Francisco, got a lot going on. Their all-pro linebacker Fred Warner was put on injured reserve after suffering a dislocated and fractured ankle in Week 6. Warner is said to be way ahead of schedule in his rehab. Reportedly could return if the 49ers make a deep playoff run. Well, the Niners can take the number 1 overall seed and get a bye in the first round of the playoffs with a pair of wins to end the regular season. San Francisco hosts Chicago tonight on Sunday Night Football. They hope to have Pro Bowl tight end George Kittle available, but reports this morning are Kittle very unlikely to play in that one. He is officially questionable. And then next week, that would set up Seattle and San Francisco head-to-head for not only the division title, but the number 1 seed overall in the NFC playoff picture.
There you have it. A look around the National Football League. We're closing in on inactives, about 10 minutes away. We'll get those to you with an eye on the offensive line, certainly for the Jaguars today. That's coming up. Matt Taylor is the voice of the Indianapolis Colts. Circumstances have changed in Indianapolis. They are now out of the playoff race, of course. I asked him earlier this week what 44-year-old quarterback Phillip Rivers brings to the table in Indy.
Well, Phillip Rivers still has his mind, and that's his strongest muscle still to this point at age 44. I mean, honestly, he's the walking embodiment or the living embodiment in this case of just how much, I think the game is 90% mental and 10% physical. I mean, I don't think there's any other way you can explain how a 44-year-old quarterback who hasn't played in, prior to the game a couple of weeks ago in Seattle in 1,800 days comes in and almost leads that team to a win on the road in that environment, and then comes back, 6 or 7 days later and is able to throw for 277 in front of the world, in front of the national audience on Monday Night Football. So, it's pretty remarkable stuff. And, as it relates to the team, it was unfortunate that Rivers played as well as he did and as efficiently as he did and putting up 27 points. And the Colts still lost by 21 because the defense played that bad on Monday Night Football. So, we can talk about how the Colts got here and, all of that stuff. Just a quick history lesson. Daniel Jones tears his Achilles 3 weeks ago on that field against Jacksonville. And then, you're in a tough spot. You lose your footing inside the AFC South. Now you're looking up at the Jaguars inside the standings. The trade deadline is come and gone. It's early December. Not a whole lot of viable options out there. That's how the Colts landed on Phillip Rivers because of his, still his football IQ, his acumen, his experience with Shane Steichen, knowing the playbook inside and out. And he also has a great familiarity with a lot of the players that are still on this team, especially on offense. I think there's, whatever the number is, like 15 total holdover teammates that are still here that were with him in 2020 when he quarterbacked the Colts to the playoffs. So he's been, I think, everything the Colts wanted and more, given the circumstances, having to bring him off the street, 2.5 weeks ago.
Matt Taylor with us, voice of the Colts. Last time out, the Jaguars defense did a pretty good job against Taylor. It was a different game. Quarterback was hurt early, a lot of changes there. But what's the biggest concern for the Colts facing this Jaguars defense?
Well, I think you hit the nail right in the head. You need to establish to some degree, you need to find some sort of substance in the running game with Jonathan Taylor. Taylor, he just hasn't been able to get going in the last 6 weeks. The Colts have lost 5 in a row. He's been held to under 100 yards in all of those games. He had a decent rushing total against Jacksonville 3 weeks ago. He was in the 70s, which I read where that's Jonathan Taylor is still the only running back to go over 70 yards rushing against Jacksonville, which just shows how good they are. But since I think everything kind of changed for the Colts, right around that Berlin game when they played Atlanta overseas, and come to find out that was the game where Daniel Jones sustained his injury with the fractured fibula. And ever since then, teams really were kind of coming closer to the line of scrimmage, playing the box, making sure they were taking Jonathan Taylor away first and foremost, and making Daniel Jones beat him through the air and playing tight coverage on the outside, just making it really difficult on the Colts on offense. And so they got to find him somehow, some way, get him going in the running game. And that's the most impressive part for me, is watching Jacksonville live and then also on tape the last couple of weeks. Is, yes, everybody knows they're number one in the NFL in stopping the run, right around 87 yards per game. But to me, the most impressive part about their defense is just how physical they are, right? When they tackle you, you're down. Like when they touch you, you don't go any further. They lead the NFL in fewest yards after contact allowed this season, which is a big part of why that number is so good at being able to stop the run. They're really good in the back end too, because teams are in third and long a lot because they're not running the ball successfully on first and second down. So that's been a disappointing revelation the last 6 or 7 games. Is just Jonathan Taylor is disappearing or getting further and further away from the MVP candidate we saw him to be in the first 2 months of the season.
Matt, what's left with this Colts defense? What are they hanging their hat on right now? Buckner's done for the year. That was announced on Friday. Jaguars did what they did against him a few weeks ago. But what's some positive things about this defense?
Well, personnel-wise, some positivity there is you're getting Sauce Gardner back for this game. He didn't play in the first Jacksonville game. He sustained a calf injury on the first series, the game after Thanksgiving, that Sunday after Thanksgiving against the Houston Texans. And we haven't seen him since. And he's really been on the field, off the field, on the field, off the field since the Colts made that trade for him, the trade deadline, giving up 2 first-round picks. So he's going to be a welcome sight for sore eyes because the Colts, I mean, you talk about the calling card and what they're hanging their hat on right now. Unfortunately, not too much. There's no real better way to answer that other than they're not doing too much well right now. They've given up 28, or I should say 48 points against San Francisco the other day and 5 passing touchdowns to Brock Purdy. The biggest thing is they just haven't been able to quiet down the big plays in the passing game. During this 5-game losing skid, not to nerd out on you, JP, but they have given up 38 pass completions over 15 yards in that span. So the middle of the field is wide open. I think because of personnel or lack thereof, right? You haven't been able to play with Charvarius Ward and also Sauce Gardner these last couple of games. The Colts I think they've shown a lot of reluctance to play an aggressive press man-to-man on the outside. So a lot of zone coverage. Middle of the field's been there for receivers and tight ends. And that's just giving up too much of a high volume number for the Colts in the passing game on defense lately.
That's the voice of the Indianapolis Colts, Matt Taylor. The full conversation on the official Jaguars podcast network. And the Colts are missing the playoffs this year. It was confirmed yesterday. It's now 5 straight seasons that the Colts have missed the playoffs. Their last appearance was in the 2020 season. They lost in the wild card round. Their last playoff win was 2018. Some tough times in Indianapolis.
Yeah, how about being the first team in 30 years to start 8-2 and not make the postseason?
That's amazing.
I mean, that is horrific. Could you imagine?
Jags started 8-3.
8-3, right? Not quite the same, but and you're right about that. And it was similar. They lost their quarterback as well, and it's tough when you lose your quarterback in the National Football League. But we're not going to feel sorry for him today.
No, and you know what? That'd be nice to be able to run it, especially, but to throw it around the way they're giving up deep balls that he just talked about, that'd be nice to see today.
Sauce Gardner expected to play today. That'll probably change things to some degree, but as you heard Matt Taylor say, the middle of the field's been wide open. This could be a big Brenton Strange, Jacoby Myers, Parker Washington type day.
That's what we like to hear.
I love it, man.
It would be nice to see. Plenty ahead. We'll have the inactives when they come down. They are due in just a few minutes. We'll have Kai Stevens and John Oehser joining us from the booth in Indianapolis. We're about an hour and a half from the 1 o'clock kickoff time for the Jaguars and the Colts in Week 17. This is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
Restaurant Orsay is a bustling French-American bistro focusing on classic French techniques with their chefs incorporating a traditional Southern influence. Celebrate life's special moments or just relax and enjoy their daily happy hour. Restaurant Orsay also offers full-service catering for any of your event needs. Restaurant Orsay, located in historic Avondale at 3630 Park Street. Visit www.restaurantorsay.com.
What's Here is a place that generations have trusted to help their kids grow up healthy and strong. What's Here are caregivers with knowledge and expertise rivaling any children's hospital in the world. What's Here is the only Level 1 pediatric trauma center in our region. What's Here is Wolfson Children's Hospital, with the technology, research, and dedication to save and change countless young lives. Wolfson Children's, always here. Visit wolfsonchildrens.com.
Before you break ground on any project, make sure to call 811 before you dig. Sunshine 811 is a free service to have underground utility lines marked before digging. For projects of all sizes, creating a game plan can save you time and money. Skipping the call could mean accidentally hitting underground utility lines, which can lead to injuries, expensive repairs, fines, and even service outages in your neighborhood. Let's keep everyone safe. Dial or click ahead. Find out more at peoplesgas.com/811.
Huddle up, MyGate Rewards members. Football is back. Celebrate with the Duval Meal Deal at Gate. Right now, grab a personal pizza and any 20-ounce Coca-Cola soft drink for just $4.99. No matter what combo you choose, this meal's the perfect play. Happening now through January 5th, 2026. See store for details. A deal that's a victory for every fan. Gates got you.
Game day means it's time to get loud, get proud, and get real. As a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Deep Eddy Vodka brings real flavor made with real ingredients to every tailgate, watch party, and post-game toast. Handcrafted in small batches in Austen, Texas, Deep Eddy Vodka is distilled 10 times and is made with purified Texas water, real fruit juice, and pure cane sugar. Wherever you're cheering on the Jaguars, make every moment a real one with Deep Eddy Vodka, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Please stay drink responsibly. Deep Eddy Vodka is a product of Deep Eddy Distilling Company, Austen, Texas. 35 to 40% alcohol by volume, distilled from corn.
Touchdown at Jaguars away games when you fly nonstop from Jacksonville International Airport. Catch epic showdowns in Cincinnati and Denver. Turn up the heat in Phoenix and Las Vegas. Support your Jaguars in divisional clashes in Houston, Nashville, and Indianapolis. View real-time parking, security, and flight updates on flyjacks.com. Whether you stick with the play call or you need an audible, they'll be your teammate every step of the way. Book your nonstop flights today. Learn more at flyjacks.com.
JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey from the Hyundai Studios in Jacksonville. The Publix Tailgate Show continues. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. The Jaguars 11-4, the Colts 8-7. It's Week 17, Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, and it's a 1 o'clock kickoff time. The Texans won yesterday. The Jaguars need to win today to stay ahead in the AFC South. Important football today and certainly next week for the Jaguars. Inactives are in. The Jaguars have a number of players down today. Keith Taylor, who was just signed this week after Jordan Lewis went on injured reserve, the cornerback, will not play today. He's inactive. Bashal Tutin, running back for the Jaguars, still recovering from that finger issue, and he is inactive. Patrick McCary, the right guard, will not play. A back injury last week. He's inactive today. Robert Hainsey with a groin injury, the center, is out for the Jaguars today. Hunter Long, tight end, inactive again. Danny Strigo, the defensive lineman, is out today. Mason Smith, the defensive tackle, is out today as well for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And we'll hear from Liam Cohen coming up before kickoff about 12:45 to see what his plans are on that offensive line today with Hainsey and McCary out.
Yeah, unfortunately, Anton Harrison able to go after being downgraded to questionable with an illness. For the Colts, Tanner Bortolini, their backup center, is inactive today. Backup running back Tyler Goodson as well. Safety Ruben Lowry III, safety George Odom, guard Dalton Tucker, and defensive end JT Tuimoloau. Also among the inactives, which means Sauce Gardner will be playing today for Indianapolis.
Sauce is in for the first time, and from the backyard to the beaches, the Ford F-150 with available Pro Power on board gives you the power of a mobile generator. Ford, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. See your local Ford dealer today. We head to Indianapolis. It's the house that Osher built, Lucas Oil Stadium in downtown Indy. John Osher with us now. and Kai Stevens as well. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. JP
Good,
getting
JP.
a little saucy with us this morning.
Yeah, I spent some time by the statue this morning, so it was a good morning.
He's been stopped nonstop. His fan club is out in full force. It's always an event.
I
when
can
John
see
returns.
that. Oh,
Both
no
of
doubt.
them.
The prodigal
Both of
son
them.
has returned.
Huge. Love that. Welcome back home, John. No, I'm kidding, of course. It's everything you want. December football, it matters. Every game matters. Every television viewing opportunity matters. Yesterday when you're looking at the Texans game, and nothing changes. Got to keep winning football games for the Jaguars.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that's a bad thing. I mean, it's look, everybody up here was watching the Texans game and obviously hoping they would lose. At the same time, this is a team that has had its foot on the gas, meaning the Jaguars, for the last 6 weeks. There's nothing wrong with going into the postseason, which they will be in, keeping that foot on the gas. So they've got to keep winning. I think all these guys would tell you that's okay, Kai.
Yeah, you look at some of these other teams, and maybe just because we've had a little bit of a break this week and we haven't played, but you want to be playing your best football this time of year. You don't want to go into it kind of like, yes, you want to be healthy and you rest your guys if you can, but I don't think it's a bad place to be playing your best football this time of year. I mean, you look at what the Texans have been doing and winning. Jaguars have been winning. That's the momentum you want going into the postseason and having your best football ahead of you.
Yeah, look, obviously the Jags want to be playing their best football, and the Colts have not been doing that on their side, a 5-game losing streak. But is there something to kind of like the psychology of, okay, you know what, we are out of it. We don't have any pressure on us. We're going to let everything cut loose today.
Yeah, I think that's an anxious feeling for the Jaguars and their fans early in the game, because you would expect, going for, I mean, everybody in the league goes for it in such weird situations now. It may not look that much different, but you would expect some things that would normally be conservative in that situation for them to be more aggressive. I think if you get the key on a game like today, get a lead, and then you can get a team that's out of it sort of saying, okay, we gave it our shot. You don't want to be trailing at halftime. You don't want to have them believe that they can do this. They all want to win. And if you're up in the second half, it's, hey, it's cool, let's go ahead and win. If you're not, it's, hey, let's go ahead and get home to the family. The tree's still up.
Certainly the Jaguars have been on the other side of this a couple of times, right, where their season is long gone, and they're going up against a team that has a lot to play for, and they come away with a win that they, on paper, should not come away with. So it can happen. I don't see the Jaguars doing that. I don't think anybody's being overlooked at this point. I don't think they're like, oh, we can just walk through this. I mean, maybe you can say something like that against the Titans next week, but there's also not that crazy pressure of we have to win. Yes, you have to win, but you're also already in the playoffs, so it would be beneficial to win, but it's not we have to win and that's what we have to do against the playoffs. There is a little bit of that respite there, but I don't think they're going to rest on that. It's more the fact that knowing that you have the pressure on yourself, internal pressure, but not that outside pressure that's always a little overbearing at times.
Also, guys, the key here is a small radio station in Dubuque criticized the Jaguars this week. So there's your motivation.
Add them to the list.
That's right.
It's a long list. Kai Stevens, John Oehser joining us from Indianapolis. This Jaguars offensive line, I mean, we'll hear from Liam Cohen coming up in the next hour and get his thoughts on the plan today, but you're losing 2 starters today. They've been able to handle this, one starter here, one starter there as the season's gone, but 2 in one game and another one under the weather coming into the day today who's going to play. So where are they up front?
Yeah, I think you hit on it, JP. They've almost lulled us into this idea that, hey, they can withstand anything up front because they've done it so often. Cole Van Lanen's done it. Walker Little did it a couple weeks ago. But now all of a sudden you're 2 down where if somebody isn't there today at some point in the game, you're down to your 3rd, reserve. So I do think this is an area to watch. It's concerning, but at the same time, Kai, they have withstood this so often that I do think there's a confidence on the offensive line that, hey, we're going to be all right. Next man up is a real thing for this bunch, so I think they will do fine.
Yeah, we've seen it throughout the entire season. Also, talking about this time of year, you got to get your guys healthy before the postseason. So if that's what it takes to get them there, you do that. I was very impressed with what Walker Little did last week, coming in and not playing a ton at right guard, seeing what he was able to do. I mean, I didn't didn't have that on my bingo card. I was surprised they put him in there a little bit as well. And obviously Cole Van Lannon we've been talking about for weeks. He's been very impressive what he's done wherever they put him on the line. I think it doesn't hurt to get some of the younger guys some snaps in games like this as well, because they may be needed in very consequential games coming up.
Yeah, and how deep is this group, guys? When something happens today, Wyatt Milam, who they love going forward, is that next guy. So a real credit to this team for building real depth. People talk about offensive line depth all the time. Sometimes you say you have it and you don't. This team has had it, Mike.
Well, the depth will be tested in the secondary as well. Maybe not as much during the last few regular season games, but certainly in the postseason. Yeah. So Jordan Lewis going out for the remainder of the year, how big of a deal is that?
Well, it's a big deal, especially when you are now down permanently with the offensive line, right? You're talking about guys being able to get back. Now you're down permanently Travis Hunter and Jordan Lewis, and I know Travis hadn't played in forever, but they were two of your top three guys early. So it's really big. Right now, again, they have built depth. You have confidence in Jarian Jones. They have confidence in Braswell. So you feel like you're fine in your first four, but you are at that point of the season where attrition matters and you don't want to lose any more guys.
It hurts, and I think a lot of it comes in that leadership and communication aspect in the secondary. We saw when, there were a lot of injuries in secondary because Lewis has missed time earlier. Eric Murray was out. You can see the miscommunication on the back end sometimes when those guys aren't out there. So I do have a concern about that. I think that obviously this team has grown as the season has gone along, and we've seen a lot out of whether it's Antonio Johnson or Jarian Jones, just in terms of growth and working with those veteran guys and kind of learning from that and realizing what their responsibilities are going to be going forward. So you definitely miss that. I mean, I know he'll be around the team, I'm sure. So that's always helpful to have. But as John mentioned, I mean, it's not a great loss. And then when you're looking down at the sheet and you're saying, wait, where do we go from here?
Sure.
If there is one more, that's where the concern really comes in.
Yeah, I think a real key is that relationship. You guys both know it. Jordan Lewis has really worked with Jarian Jones. Jarian Jones has accepted that and wanting to get better. I don't know if I thought at the beginning of the season that you would feel this confident in Jarian in the last couple of games. He will wind up being a very key player down the stretch and into the playoffs.
Ty Stevens, John Oehser with us in Indianapolis. Well, there are competitors, and then there's Phillip Rivers. 44 years old, coming out of retirement, making his third straight start for the Indianapolis Colts. You love the mic'd-up pieces when you're not playing them, of course. Unique Ngakoue wouldn't agree with that, by the way. That's another story. But, he stepped up and made some bigger throws last week. Not going to have a big, deep shot down the field most likely today. But what do you have to be careful with Phillip Rivers in a game like this?
Well, I think the smarts. I think the fact that he's not going to quit. He's out there to have fun. He knows what he's doing. You would think he's not quite as in tune with this offense as the one he was in the Chargers because he'd been there forever. But watching him last week, a lot of command, a lot of ability to get guys in the right place pre-snap. You always have to worry about him because he is so smart that if you make a mistake, even with the arm not what it was, and it was never unbelievable, he can take advantage of it if you are not on point. So it scares you, and I think that's why the early part of this game, Kai, is so big. Get a lead on this team and make them believe that they can't win it.
Yeah, you don't want him capitalizing on any mistakes. If it's in the secondary or he sees something, the way people are lined up and can take advantage of that. He's a smart football player, played for a very long time. But it's just not underestimating. It's not even really thinking about it. You have to obviously go in with your game plan and how you're going to attack it, but can't give much notice to that. You don't want to really buy into it. It's fun to watch when you're not playing them, but not something they should really buy into today. And, I mean, John, what would it take you to get out of retirement? You're 5 years in. It would take a lot.
Well, I feel like I've already been on it for 10 years. So
John's been mailing it in for 10.
It would take a lot.
I mean, clearly the guy wants to be here if he's coming out of retirement from 5 years ago to come back and play football. So don't underestimate how much he loves this game and wants to get a win, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think the key for the pass rush, you're not going to get him a lot. He gets rid of the ball, but pressure him and force a couple of turnovers.
Yeah, get it out, and he throws it like a shot put sometimes. So catch it when it's thrown in your direction.
Sure.
John Oehser, Kai Stevens, enjoy the game, and we'll talk to you guys a little bit later. Appreciate it.
Mike, JP, thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Jags AM Kai and John will be on there Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings on Jaguars.com. And the Jonas Brothers are coming to Daly's Place in an unforgettable night of sing-along hits and high-energy performance on Tuesday, December 30th, coming up in a couple days. The last show of the season at Daly's and the last show for a little while at Daly's. So tickets are going fast. Get yours now at dailysplace.com/events or call 904-633-2000. We're inside 20 minutes from Jaguars Radio Network coverage. Countdown to kickoff starts at noon Eastern. Up next, a fantasy forecast or review. It is championship weekend in fantasy football, and we'll have Frank Frangie in the broadcast booth. Jaguars Colts at 1 o'clock in Week 17. This is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
It's game time, Jaguars fans. This season, feed your fandom with the Jaguars sub from Publix, the official supermarket of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow! Sink your teeth into crispy chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, melted cheddar, sweet coleslaw, and smoky barbecue mayo, all stacked on a fresh white roll. Taste the hype only at Jacksonville Publix locations. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
I'm Foye Oluwakim from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Driving distracted or under the influence is dangerous for you, and it's dangerous for everyone on the road around you. Ride with Do Not Disturb. That call, text, or social media message can wait. Choose your music before you turn the ignition. Anytime your eyes are not on the road ahead, you're distracted, so pay attention. Remember, drive high equals DUI. Plan ahead. Have a designated driver or get a ride home. Keep a clear head to see clear ahead, and let's get everyone home safely.
Can you smell it? The sweet scent of victory is already in the air, Jags fans. Wait a minute. That's not victory. That's the warm, buttery, sweet aroma of freshly baked Auntie Anne's pretzels. Your nose knows. Follow it to the nearest Auntie Anne's. Now located right here in Everbank Stadium. Auntie Anne's. Let's get twisted.
Listen up. If our kids are going to grow up healthy, we have to work together out there. A healthier tomorrow depends on the calls that we make today. It's about eating right and focusing on their physical and mental health. We should be reading to our kids every night. Can you give me 60 minutes of physical activity every day?
Yes, sir, I can.
This is our healthy playbook. We do this as a team. Our kids win. Who's with me?
Get healthy at nemours.org/Jaguars. Nemours Children's Health, proud pediatric partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Johnstone Supply Wholesale provides HVAC contractors with Amana air conditioners, heat pumps, and furnaces homeowners trust. Built to be reliable, quiet, and energy efficient to provide indoor heating and cooling comfort year-round. Don't settle for less. Trust the experts. To find the right system for your home, locate an Amana Advantage specialist near you at johnstoneamana.com. That's johnstoneamana.com.
New job, new city, new you. Find your fresh start at Point Grand Apartments in Jacksonville and Brunswick. Step into a brand new 2-bedroom apartment with open layouts, sleek finishes, and space to make it your own. Enjoy resort-style pools with cabanas, 24-hour fitness centers, and pet-friendly perks that make every day easier. Live close to work, the coast, and everything you love without the stress. With 8 great locations and endless possibilities, your fresh start begins at pointgrand.com. That's pointgrand.com. Start fresh today.
Final moments of the Publix Tailgate Show. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey from the Hyundai Studios in Jacksonville as the Jaguars hit the road to face the Colts. Jags 11-4, Colts 8-7. Jaguars cannot clinch anything today because the Texans won yesterday. Kickoff today, 1 o'clock at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. And we're closing in on Countdown to Kickoff on the Jaguars Radio Network. That's coming up at noon in the network presented by the University of Florida, #1 university in the U.S. News and World Report's #1 state for education. It is Fantasy Championship weekend. How
It
about
is,
a fantasy forecast?
Well, and JP, I have 3 championships going on. In one, I had Derrick Henry playing.
That's pretty good.
And in one, I played against Derrick Henry.
That's not good.
We'll see how that all works out today. All right, C.J. Stroud yesterday threw for 244 and a pair of scores as the Texans knocked off the Chargers in that game. Marion Hampton ended with about 20 fantasy points in point per reception leagues because he caught 8 dump-offs out of the backfield. He scored a touchdown in that game as well. But Derrick Henry blew everybody away with 216 on the ground and 4 TDs as Baltimore defeated Green Bay 41-24. If you had to play Malik Willis at quarterback, you're pretty happy with the results. He ran for 60 yards and 2 scores. He threw for 288 and another touchdown before leaving that game late due to injury. Speaking of injuries, here are some of the guys who are questionable, who are active today. Arizona at Cincinnati. Marvin Harrison Jr. will play for the Cardinals, but said to maybe be on a bit of a pitch count, might not play the full amount of reps. Noah Fant, the tight end for the Bengals, is active today as well. For Pittsburgh at Cleveland, Calvin Austen III had already been ruled out for the Steelers. Harold Fannin picked up a groin injury on Friday during the team's walkthrough. He said all along he would play. He was right. He is going to play today, and reportedly with no restrictions. Dylan Sampson will play and start for the Cleveland Browns as well. He was questionable to go, and Quinshon Judkins on season-ending IR, so Sampson should get a big workload, probably catch a bunch of balls out of the backfield as well. Chris Olave is up for the Saints as they take on the Tennessee Titans. Alvin Kamara had already been ruled out there. Audric Estime and Evan Hull will split the touches in the backfield. Neither one of them is a desirable play in Fantasy Championship week. Tampa Bay at Miami, pretty clean here, except for Jason Sanders, the Miami kicker, remains out. Riley Patterson will continue to do the place-kicking duties for the Dolphins. New England at the Jets. Travian Henderson is in. He left the game last week due to a concussion. This is a great matchup for both Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson against that Jets run defense. Demario Douglas, who's questionable to play, he will be able to give it a go today for New England, although they'll be without Kayshon Boutte and Mac Hollins in that wide receiver core. And Mason Taylor, the Jets tight end, has been ruled out for that one. Seattle at Carolina, in terms of the guys you'd be interested in playing, pretty clean report there. The Giants downgraded Theo Johnson to out over the course of the weekend as it's kind of a battle of attrition. Vegas had already put Brock Bowers on IR. They're benching Max Crosby, putting him on IR, and this is a game that nobody really wants to win. So it's going to be fascinating to see what happens here. Genty and maybe Tyrone Tracy, the only guys that should be on your radar probably for fantasy purposes coming out of that game. Philadelphia at Buffalo in the late afternoon window. Josh Allen off the injury report and said to be playing with no restrictions today, although he may be without one or both of his tight ends, Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox, both questionable in that one. Matt Prater is out, the kicker, so Michael Badgley will kick once again for the Bills. Sunday Night Football, no Roma Dunze for the Bears. George Kittle officially questionable, but they said it's unlikely that he's going to go tonight. Jake Tonjes is a reasonable pivot if you've got Kittle on your roster. Tonjes, very likely his backup available on your waiver wire, so at least you'd have a fallback to go to tonight. And for Monday Night Football, Devontae Adams said to be doubtful. There's talk the Rams will not play him again in the regular season, getting ready for the postseason. Drake London is questionable for Atlanta. Maybe David Sills available. He would be kind of the one-for-one replacement, although probably would not put up the same kind of numbers that you'd expect from Drake London, but at least you'd have a body to be able to throw in there in case London is unable to play on Monday night.
There you have it, Fantasy Forecast, Championship Weekend in Fantasyland, and the Jaguars broadcast booth is presented by Heritage of North Florida, Jacksonville's premier roofing and remodeling company. Let's go to Indianapolis. Frank Franchi joining us from Lucas Oil Stadium. The Colts are out of the playoffs. That happened yesterday officially. The Jaguars are in the playoffs, and they have business to attend to, and you know what? They're getting disrespected still, Frank. That's going to be the theme, I think, the rest of the way here.
JP, you're correct. Good morning to you and Mike, and that's right. And I think Liam Cohen's done a wonderful job using that theme. And I think the other theme is no one's going to help you. You got to do it yourself, and that's what we found out when the Texans won yesterday. If the Texans lose, it gets a lot easier now. The Jags have to keep right on winning, and I think that's fine because that's when they're at their best, right, JP? When people aren't talking about them and expectations aren't high, and come up here and beat a Colts team you just should beat, and I think that's what's going to happen.
And I think, Frank, that has been the way they've been operating. Like, we're going to take care of our own business. We don't care. We'll play anywhere, anytime, anywhere. And all that's great. But how has Liam Cohen been able to instill that in this team? There are a lot of holdovers still. And they brought in some new guys, but it's not like they brought in, 6 or 7 multiple-time Super Bowl champions that have these great deep playoff resumes, yet they're playing like a veteran team that knows how to take care of business.
Yeah, Mike, you're dead on. I think there's 2 things. Number one, Liam's really good at it. He understands the psychology of the human mind. He understands how to motivate players. He got here because of his play calling, right? But we found out very early on that he's so much more than that. He connects with players. He motivates players. I think that's part of it. I think the other part of it is the guys they did bring in, Robert Hainsey and Patrick McCary and Eric Murray and Jordan Lewis, are pros, Mike. And I think younger players watch them, and they watch how they react to Liam's comments, and they watch how they react and work on a day-to-day basis. So I think it's a combination of the players they did bring in, where they didn't come in with a lot of Super Bowl rings, but they're pros, man. They brought in some pros. Jacoby Myers is a pro who they got a little later on, and I think young players are feeding off those guys, and I think Liam really gets to those guys. So it's all worked, and you can see you win 6 games in a row and you play very well in all those games. It certainly is paying off.
And in a couple instances, the holdovers that were here that weren't on board or weren't up to standard, they moved on from them.
Yeah,
and,
great point.
And
great
carried
point.
on. Frank Frangie with us from Indianapolis. Let's start with the Jaguars' defense today. Obviously, the running back is the number one priority, but you got Phillip Rivers back there, man. 44 years of age, played a little better last week. There will be some limitations, but boy, this is just a strange story all around. But you know what? He played better last week.
Yeah, he actually didn't play badly at all. I thought getting on the bus today, coming to the stadium, that maybe now that they're out of it, since the Texans won yesterday, JP, that maybe we'd see Rivers for a quarter and then they'd go to Riley Leonard. But I'm being told by all the Colts people here that I trust that that's not the case. This is Phillip's game. Next week they'll play Riley Leonard in the last game of the year at Houston and get him 4 quarters worth of reps if his health holds up. But this is going to be Phillip's game today. So you're right. Look, you know what you got with Phillip Rivers. He knows how to play. He's not going to throw it to the wrong guy very often. You're not going to fool him with disguised coverages very often. The limitations are he never had a great arm, and he doesn't have the arm he once had. So you know what you've got. I would expect a lot of Jonathan Taylor. JP's had 5 straight games of less than 90 yards. That's all the talk around here. They wonder if they haven't given it to him enough. We're watching last night, and the Ravens probably figured out, oh, by the way, we do have Derrick Henry on our team. Why don't we give him the ball, right? And he got it 36 times. I would expect to see something similar today.
Yeah, those 36 carries probably felt like about 15, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the holes were gaping last night. Let's hope that's not the case today, Frank. For the Jags, we'd like to see some gaping holes. And look, a backup offensive lineman that played well for this team. And now you're starting 2. Anton Harrison comes in less than 100% with an illness. Are you at all concerned about the depth today?
A little bit. I think I am. As much as they like Jonah Monheim, and they really do, Mike, they like him. But he is a rookie. He's a rookie playing in a really critically important game that the Jags have to win. It would be disingenuous not to think that it concerns you a little bit, but they really like him. They think he's ready to play. I love the way the coaches talk about him. I love the way they talked about him on draft day, man, or the 3rd day of the draft when they took him. They think they've got something special there. The good news, Mike, the other good news is, boy, Walker Little played well last week at right guard. When McCary went out, I just assumed they would put Walker Little at left tackle and move Cole Van Lannon to right guard where he had been playing, but they didn't. They said, nope, Cole Van Lannon's our left tackle. They're going to play Walker Little at right guard. I thought he did a terrific job, so I think they'll hold up. But they have to run the ball better. In all this winning, Mike, the one thing that hasn't gone as well is they haven't run the ball as well as they'd like, and I'd like to see them get back to that today, too.
Frank Frangie joining us from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. He'll have the call of the game coming up, and up next is Jaguars Radio Network coverage. Countdown to kickoff. Plenty ahead for the 1 o'clock kickoff time for the Jaguars and Colts. This has been the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
It's game time, Jaguars fans. This season, feed your fandom with the Jaguars sub from Publix, the official supermarket of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Sink your teeth into crispy chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, melted cheddar, sweet coleslaw, and smoky barbecue mayo, all stacked on a fresh white roll. Taste the hype only at Jacksonville Publix locations. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
You say there's nothing quite like the feel of the open road when you ride a motorcycle. You know it takes concentration, knowledge, and skills beyond those required to drive a car. Ride Smart Florida would like to take this opportunity to remind you to enjoy the road, but to always ride smart. S-M-A-R-T. Say no to drinking and riding. Make yourself more visible to motorists. Always wear your helmet. Ride in control. Train regularly and get endorsed. Visit RideSmartFlorida.com for more details. Do you ride smart? This message is provided by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Restaurant Orsay is a bustling French-American bistro focusing on classic French techniques with their chefs incorporating a traditional Southern influence. Celebrate life's special moments or just relax and enjoy their daily happy hour. Restaurant Orsay also offers full-service catering for any of your event needs. Restaurant Orsay, located in historic Avondale at 3630 Park Street. Visit www.restaurantorsay.com. Feeling hungry, Jaguars fans? Fuel your Duval energy with a delicious Stallmeyer all-beef hot dog on game day as you support your Jacksonville Jaguars. Whether you're at the game or at home, it's not game day without a Stallmeyer all-beef hot dog made in Florida. Stallmeyer all-beef hot dogs will fuel your energy to help bring on a victory for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Stallmeyer all-beef hot dogs are available at your local Publix supermarkets. Don't feel hungry, Jaguars fans. Fuel your energy with the official hot dog of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Stallmeyer.
Is your organization ready to tackle its toughest challenges? For 3 decades, CSI Companies based in Jacksonville has been the trusted workforce partner for leading healthcare and technology providers nationwide. Whether finding the right talent for a specific job, advising on a strategic project, or offering seamless managed services, they tailor every solution to fit your needs. CSI brings trusted expertise and a people-first approach to your organization. Get the job done right. Together, we go further. Learn more at CSICompanies.com. Come
on, hurry up!
The stadium bathroom line. It's like TSA and the DMV merged in the waters of rush hour traffic, and you're in it. No closer to the bathroom than you were 5 minutes ago. Just closer to, well, going to the bathroom. You know what actually takes a minute? Pre-ordering an Uber so no one drives impaired after the game. Take a minute, make a plan. Never drive impaired. Go to takeaminutenow.com. From Diageo, Mad, Uber, and the NFL. Please drink responsibly.
This is Countdown to Kickoff. Presented by Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep